Hail hits a corn and dry edible bean producer in the Panhandle. Good afternoon to you here on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Bryce Duskett reporting. Andy Groskopf is a farmer from Scottsbluff. Andy Groskopf is a farmer from the Scottsbluff, Nebraska region. He's also a representative on the Nebraska Corn Board. He joins me now as Andy will talk about that hail coming up here in a second. But first, set the stage for us. Tell me about the farming operation.
Oh, I farm here with my dad, and we grow corn and dry edible beans. Everything's irrigated, pivot, and furrow irrigation.
Everything go in the ground kind of the way you wanted it to this year? You guys had quite a bit of rain out in the Scottsbluff region in particular.
Starting out, we were extremely dry, and we got corn in, and then it started raining, and when it came to bean planting time, that was kind of a challenge, but I'll never complain about getting rained out when I'm planting.
Well, you posted some pictures to start the week here as you and I are visiting. Got some hail. Tell me about that storm that came through and what it left you with.
Well, last Sunday night, it was started to sprinkle a little bit, and I live 5 miles north of Scottsbluff, and I have a farm just a quarter mile north of Scottsbluff. I didn't even get no rain at home, and then I got a phone call and said, hey, it hailed down south. So I drove down there and looked, and it totaled everything out. And I imagine that storm took a 6-mile stretch or better. I mean, it started south of Mitchell and wiped out people there and just moved, and about the east edge of Scottsbluff, it stopped.
As you assessed that crop a few days ago, and is it total destruction of that field?
Oh, I don't really know how to answer that. I've had corn crops that look like that before, and they turned out to be a really good crop. So this one I really don't have much faith in because we're kind of short on water and stuff here this year, and it was later in the year when it got hit this year. So I really don't know. I think it's going to make something. I really don't think that the crop insurance people are just going to let me walk away from it at this point.
Separate topic, pick your brain about quick. The Nebraska Corn Growers Association has announced the establishment of the Panhandle Corn Growers Association, which is going to represent corn growers in Banner, Box Butte, Garden, Morrill, Scottsbluff, and Sioux counties. I know you were involved with the formation of this. How did this all come together?
Well, we were discussing it one year at Commodity Classic, how we needed some representation for the Panhandle and the corn growers, because the Panhandle hasn't been represented very well, or not at all, and because we do things so much different out here in the Panhandle than the rest of the state, like with our irrigation and things like that, and we just grow so many different crops out here. And so we got this started, and I'm excited for it and excited to get a lot of producers involved. So our voice from western Nebraska and story is told across the state.
Any particular issues or things going on that you foresee your group bringing forth to the Nebraska Association here in the next couple of years?
Well, I think like our Panhandle Corn Growers Association is key to water. You know, a lot of people in the state don't realize that we don't irrigate our crops with wells, and so our water comes out of the mountain of Wyoming down the North Platte River and taken out in laterals, and that's a pretty important story to tell because our return inflows and stuff get back in the river, and it goes on down the line to Lake McConaughey. So kind of what happens in the west with water is pretty important to other parts in the state.
Absolutely. Andy Groskopf, a farmer from the Scottsbluff, Nebraska region, our guest today as we talk about hail that fell in his region, as well as the establishment of a new Nebraska Corn Growers Association affiliate. Here on the Rural Radio Network, I'm Bryce Duskett reporting.